Hey, this is Drei here. Dre does analysis. Actually, I wanted to tell you something that uh, in the previous days I realized that I had mistakenly put the wrong numbers in some of my videos, and that fix made me fix almost all the arrangements and the playlist. So I'm sorry uh if you I don't know if someone's even watching there, but if you are wondering about that, it's that because the orders are wrong and I just changed it from date to date in the right order. So here we will analyze the third game. If you remember it, my band account Super J played Gabby 17. This is part of the three games that I played very well. As you can see, I played the black pieces here. 91 accuracy. Very I like this accuracy, and I gave him the lead kind of, but I held back. I held him back and just continued to win. And in this position, I mean, in this game, this is a very close game. He also trash talked me. If yes, she trash talked me in my day, and I posted that in my social media accounts. But I just trash talked me in Filipino. So d4, c5, e4, c takes d4, and now c3. Oh, by the way, I'm black here. So I don't really know theory of the Smith-Morra gambit, but I played 96. Here, the engine wants you to take. But this is very dangerous. If you don't know the lines, let's say knight e6, knight to c6, bishop to c4, and then something like d6. It's very dangerous for black to play into the gambit of white. So I played knight e6, c takes d4, d5, knight c3, and now e6. Knight f6 is better, but e6, yes, e5. But by e5 now, knight g e7, knight f3, and now knight f5. The idea of knight e7, as you have previously seen, is to play knight f5, putting that knight in a very nice square, attacking the weak backwards pawn that is d4, and putting your knight in a great position. Oh, by the way, if like you're having thoughts of playing like something like this, that also is possible. It's also, but it's like maybe kind of Josh now. It's knight h4. You don't play this. Because there's bishop takes h6, g takes h6, now bishop to d3. That's bad for you. So if you're wondering about such lines, because this can also happen in like your game. So knight h4. If takes, then you should just take bishop e3 and then bishop d7. But if he doesn't take it, bishop here, bishop d7, a3, rook c8, knight takes f3 check, queen takes f3, and then like queen e7, mali. Bishop to e7, like b5, castling inside, it's all fine after that. So if you're just wondering, I just showed you the variation. a3, bishop d7, g3, queen to v6. I know he wanted to play v4, but he could also be playing b4, bishop b2. Or he's just trying to, get his bishop out. Like bishop to e3. But also the idea of queen to b6 is the attack the weak d4 that's been aforementioned. Knight to e2, knight a5. Now, it all branches out. If you look at it, is that knight a5 is possible because of the queen b6, and now I can play knight c4 or knight b3 depending on what he plays. But he plays b4, the correct move, and now knight e6, a mistake of mine. I should play knight c4. Here I got scared. I don't know why. I got scared of something like queen to b3, but actually I could just meet that at a5. I didn't get to see that, and I pushed. You should not take. It's not that much better. As it the pawn is really free. She should play a4, trying to get the square advantage, and now if you play something like this, like this e3, and like you're winning, very winning. 305, 3-5. You're winning here for the sole reason is that he is very trapped. He's just very trapped. 3-5, 3-5, and he's suffocating. He's terribly suffocating. take. Bang. Something like that. C5, knight to C6, a bad mistake of mine. It really is a bad mistake. I'm sorry for that. It's a really obvious mistake. But in the game, I was like, I should just put it back. But, like, I'm scared. Let's bishop h3, and now I am completely dubious. I'm in complete shock. That move was very dubious. Like, why the hell would you play that? H3 is the better move, but you play bishop h3. It just looks ugly. So a5, bishop takes f5, but that's also the idea of why he played that. Just wants to take my knight, I guess. He takes f5, b takes a5, knight takes a5, castle kingside, and now queen to b3, trying to uh call this trade. You know why this trade is good? Because their knight is undermining and is on the enemy side rather than being completely obsolete. So this really helps. So queen takes b3, knight takes b3, rook to b1, knight takes c1. Because imagine going back in that position. That would be bad, very bad. As knight c3, completely wait on bishop e6, and something like a4 or bishop f4 just completely gives white the space advantage that they clearly need. So you should just suffocate them. Knight takes c1, rook f takes c1, bishop to a c6. The only good move. Why not bishop to e6? Because there's knight f4. And now if you play something like this, rook takes b7, it's very free. And you try to defend it, there's rook to c7, and the rook has completely infiltrated the 7th rank. And uh, like in books, that is very, very dangerous. So bishop c6 is the only good move. Knight to h4 is an inaccuracy, as a4 is very, very clearly better. You can't give up you can't take with the bishop again. Bishop takes b7, allowing white to infiltrate, and you are completely doomed again. Just look at that. Here, no, 7, knight takes it, that's completely winning. So knight h4, that's just a very bad inaccuracy. It's g6. Defending the pawn, just plainly defending the pawn. Rook c3, rook takes a3. You want the trade, of course. Rook takes a3, bishop takes a3, knight to g2. Rook a1 would have been better. Rook a1 would have been met with bishop to e7 if you hadn't thought of that. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get fork, like something like this, like fork. But no, bishop to f8 or bishop to e7. What the hell is bishop to f8 much better? Like, check. King move, wait, king move. And then something like here, and okay, there's things like that. So, g2, f6, f4, now king to e7, trying to activate my king. Knight to e3, king to e6, he takes f6. By the way, it's April 3, Wednesday. I don't know what time it is. It was earlier, but it's now 10 p.m. exactly. 2024, April 3. Again, king takes f6, knight c3, trying to attack my weak pawn. King to e6, king to f2, rook to a8, going to the open file. Rook to e1, trying to open check, do some shenanigans. Now king to f7, going back. You don't want to get into bull crap of shenanigans. Rook a6 is said to be much better by the engine. Now rook to a1, rook to a6. Your rook shifting direction. Maybe will be shifting direction from A to the B file. Now I take C takes D5 is a blunder. Can you find why it's a mistake? Well, it's a mistake because of the resource that is bishop to B2. I'm in complete shock as that move is very crazy and hard to find. Remember that your rook is under attack, you're fighting knights, and you're a double paired bishop. So after rook takes a6, it would have been better to play rook d1, defending that undefended pawn. Rook takes a6, b takes a6, knight to b4, trying getting out of the pin or the attack of that bishop. Bishop to b5, knight bc2, a5, knight d1, bishop c1, knight c3, bishop to d3. Just complete outmaneuvering by me. Now after knight to e1, a very bad inaccuracy as you leave that pawn behind. Bishop to b2 is played. After knight takes d3, bishop takes e3, knight e3, king e6, king to c1, king to d5. Oh, by the way, it's the only good move because you need to support that pawn. If you don't, your pawn is gonna get sacrificed by this knight, and white will have some chances of counterplay. Knight c1, king to d5, knight e2, bishop to a1, king to d3, a4, knight c3 check, bishop takes c3. The idea is that after king takes c3, a3, king b3, king takes d4, b4, and you're gonna march down. And I didn't completely stop here. You see, I am a menace to society. And if you have seen my old video about the knight and bishop combination, you should definitely check that out. As in that game, yeah, it's not that losing here. As in that video, I have well discussed about the techniques to play bishop and knight in a checkmate, and this is my way of mating him. And I will see you all in the next Trader's analysis video. And just read more books, play more chess, and sleep early. See y'all.